I can't sleep. The sheets feel like sandpaper, the air in the room too thick to breathe. Outside, the moon washes pale light across our backyard fence, and all I can think about is that photo. It's on her phone. A casual snapshot. Nothing fancy. She's leaning forward, smiling in a way she rarely smiles at me these days. And the person taking the photo isn't me. I can tell by how she's looking at the camera. Welcoming, open, inviting. It's almost like a secret language, something meant only for him. I remember seeing it by accident a week ago, when she set her phone down on the kitchen counter. The screen lit up with a text, and for a split second, that image glowed at me. I didn't say a word. Didn't ask her. Didn't let on that I'd noticed. I just stood there, waiting for her to pick it back up, waiting for her to look at me and shrug or stammer an explanation. She didn't even notice my eyes. Now it's 2:14 in the morning. I glance at the digital clock on the nightstand for the 20th time. I push myself up, slip out of bed carefully so I don't wake her. I notice she's on the far side, near the edge, like she's afraid our bodies might accidentally touch in the night. My knee twinges as I stand, the old high school football injury flaring up. I ignore it. I pad down the hall in my t-shirt and sweatpants, the ones I always wear when I can't sleep. My father's wristwatch glints in the darkness, and heirloom I keep on even in bed. A small piece of him, the only inheritance I have left. In the living room, I flick on a lamp. I can't stop thinking about the way she's been different. She gets text messages late at night. She'll walk into another room to answer them. Her laugh, it's changed. Softer, almost like she's remembering something or someone that makes her glow. That glow isn't for me. That's just a fact. I feel a tightness in my chest, but it's not anger. Not yet. It's more like dread, a slow, poisonous dread that's kept me awake for too many nights, and it's not the first time I've felt it either. I pick up my phone from the coffee table. I stare at it, remembering the day I overheard everything. A few weeks ago, I was hosting a virtual meeting with my small logistics team. We use microphones and headsets. In a rush to log off, I left the mic on by mistake. I set it aside, intending to sign out once the meeting ended. But I got distracted, rummaging in the kitchen for a snack. Then I heard voices, low and hushed, drifting from my earpiece. At first, I thought it was just leftover chatter from my coworkers, but it wasn't. "Hey," she had said, my wife's voice. "You have no idea how much I've missed you." There was a pause. A man's voice answered, quiet, intimate. I didn't catch every word, but I heard enough. A laugh, throaty and full of promise. That laugh didn't belong to me, and that promise wasn't mine to keep. I heard breathing that seemed too close, too exposed. I realized I must have left my microphone open in the study, capturing the conversation in the next room. Maybe she was on her cell phone. Maybe she was on the house line. It didn't matter. Because there it was, an actual moment of betrayal, drifting to me through a cheap headset. I dropped the snack bag. I didn't move. I just stood there, hearing my wife say words she used to say to me in another lifetime. "You don't know how much I need you." My heart hammered against my rib cage. Then I heard a rustle, fabric or something more intimate, before the call ended. The line went dead. I had no illusions after that. I knew. I just knew. I tried to confront her that same night, but the words clogged in my throat. She came into the kitchen, hair damp from the shower, wearing her casual leggings and an oversized t-shirt. I asked if everything was okay. She gave me a mild look, indifferent. Said she was fine. She poured herself a glass of wine and left to watch TV. I followed behind her, wanting to demand an answer. But when I saw her eyes, calm, distant, almost bored, I lost my nerve. A wave of black humor swept over me. It was like my entire body froze, but my mind was reeling with sarcastic little lines. I guess I'm the last one to find out. Guess I'm the punchline to a joke in my own home. But none of that made it past my lips. So here I am, 2 weeks later, in the living room at 2:14 a.m., remembering every detail. Sometimes I wonder if I should have done something that night, kicked open the door to the next room, yelled, broken something. But that's not me. I keep waiting for a confrontation, waiting for the right moment. Meanwhile, that image on her phone, the one with her smiling for him, is burning a hole in my head. I flick the lamp off. Darkness returns. I find my way back to bed, but I don't lie down. Instead, I hover near the foot of the bed, looking at Caroline. Her hair fans over the pillow, the ends slightly curled from whatever fancy hair product she uses. She's not asleep. Her eyes blink, adjusting to the darkness. She notices me standing there. She doesn't ask what's wrong. She just stares, a cool, unreadable expression on her face. I think about saying something. My throat tightens. Then I walk out again, back to the living room, back to the silence that's slowly becoming my companion. The next morning, I try to act normal. I make coffee, toast some bread. I rummage through the fridge for eggs. My movement is quick, nervous. I almost drop the plate. My knee hurts again, and that pisses me off because I don't want to look weak. Caroline comes in, wearing her robe. She rubs Daisy's little head, our Maltese, the one she adores. She glances at me. Morning, I say. She shrugs. Hey, I'm heading out in a bit. I have a meeting downtown. Her tone is empty, matter-of-fact. I crack an egg into the pan. Sizzle. I watch the yolk pop. I want to say, another meeting, right? Or is that some kind of code? But I don't. I just hum, which is a useless sound. She showers, dresses, and leaves the house before I've even taken a second bite of my breakfast. All I hear is the front door clicking shut. That's it. Just the door. A final punctuation mark on yet another day of her indifferent routine. My phone buzzes. Work notifications. A text from my sister in Florida. Something about Mom's health. I can't focus. My mind keeps replaying that overheard conversation, the way she sounded so alive with him. I decide to keep busy. I bury myself in spreadsheets and logistics calls. My boss wants me to finalize a shipping plan by the end of the day. Fine. It's better than letting my mind wander. I flip through reports, bark directions to my junior staff. I catch a glimpse of myself in the office window reflection, silver creeping into my temples, lines across my forehead. I look older than my 45 years. I look tired. By mid-afternoon, I realize I haven't eaten lunch. My hands feel clammy on the keyboard. I fumble with my phone, nearly dropping it. A wave of black humor hits again. Yeah, Mike, can't even hold onto your phone. Can't hold onto your wife either. I almost laugh out loud at my own bitterness. The strangest part is how none of this truly enrages me in the usual sense. It's more like a slow rotting inside. A silent ache that eats me from the inside out. Not every pain is visible, and no one in the office sees it. I mask it with forced small talk and spreadsheets. One day blends into the next. Nights are the worst, of course. I barely sleep. I've tried every old remedy. Warm milk, herbal tea, counting sheep. Nothing helps. So I just lie there, letting the exhaustion pile up. The confrontation I want, the confrontation I need, never arrives. Until one evening, everything spins out of control. It's a Thursday night. I'm in the study, fiddling with my laptop, reading old emails. Caroline left earlier, meeting a client for dinner, she said. It's nearly midnight when I hear her come in. At first, I don't move. Then I realize I have to do something. My heart starts pounding. I step out into the hallway, flick on the overhead light. She's by the front door, slipping off her heels. I see a hint of smudged lipstick on her face, her blouse slightly rumpled. She looks up. Our eyes meet. She sighs. Long night? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. She shrugs. Event planning is hectic. You know that. She's about to slip past me. I block her way, not forcefully, but enough to make her stop. My words come out in a low rush. Where've you really been? Caroline doesn't even flinch. She's calm, but her gaze is distant. Ouch, she says. Working. I feel my jaw tighten. My breath gets shallow. I can hear the faint hum of the refrigerator, the ticking of a clock on the wall, my own heartbeat hammering. The tension rises. You're lying, I say, voice trembling. I know you've been seeing someone else. She gives a small shrug. And what if I have? Do you want details? There's no anger in her voice. It's worse. It's indifference. She's testing me, or maybe she's too tired to pretend. I swallow. My hands are sweating. I can't look away from her face. I overheard. Weeks ago. I know. She runs a hand through her hair. So, now you know. She doesn't even try to deny it. I'm going to bed, she murmurs, slipping past me. My arm brushes against her shoulder, but she doesn't stop. She leaves me standing there, mouth half open, questions swirling in my head. The finality in her tone cracks something inside me. My hand drifts to my father's watch. The metal is cold against my fingertips. There's a voice in my head screaming, do something. Instead, I just stay there until the hallway light seems too bright to bear. I start rummaging around the house, trying to piece together evidence. I check phone bills, browser history. I find receipts for restaurants we've never visited together. I even find a note scribbled in her handwriting. Dom, next Tuesday, 7 p.m., the name hits me in the gut. Dominic Harris, the man I've heard about from a coworker who mentioned a new big shot in the hospitality business. The man who's apparently capturing my wife's attention. I slam the drawer shut. Days pass. Each one is a miserable parade of forced civility. She barely looks at me, and when she does, it's with the same detached politeness she might offer a stranger. I act quickly sometimes, searching through her things, reading her text logs. But then I freeze, uncertain what to do with the knowledge. I gather facts. I stack them neatly in my mind. The man calls himself Dom. He's 38, single, successful, confident. He must have something I don't. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe it's just that he's new, and I'm old news. I think about seeing him face to face, and my heart stutters with a mix of fear and perverse excitement. I should confront him. But how? I rehearse lines in the mirror. I get them wrong every time. My reflection shows a man uncertain, sweaty, haunted by doubt. Caroline stays out more often. Sometimes she doesn't even offer excuses. She just disappears for hours. Then one afternoon I come home early from work. I turn the key in the lock and push the door open. Immediately, I sense something off. Her car is in the driveway, yet the house is quiet. My pulse thrums. I set my briefcase on the floor, slip off my shoes, and walk softly into the living room. The door to the spare bedroom is ajar. We usually keep it shut. Daisy's water dish is in the corner, and the dog is nowhere to be seen. Then I hear it. A rustling. A muffled laugh. I freeze. My mind blanks. My breath catches in my throat, but my legs move me forward. I peer through the gap in the door. They're inside. Her blouse is undone. He's behind her, one hand around her waist, the other tracing lazy patterns on her bare skin. The windows are half drawn, letting in strips of midday light that dance across their bodies. I see the shape of his arm, the muscular definition. I see the tilt of her head as she leans into him. I don't see explicit details, but it's enough to make my stomach twist in revulsion and strange disbelief. Time slows. My pulse hammers in my ears. She breathes his name. He whispers something in her ear, and she laughs. Soft, breathy, the same laugh I once heard in the hush of our bedroom. I step back, heart pounding so loudly I'm sure they'll hear it. My entire body shakes. I think about bursting through the door, raging like a madman. I see it in my mind's eye. Me grabbing him, yelling at her. But my feet won't move. I'm paralyzed, trembling. A black, bitter voice inside me sneers. You're not even man enough to break down your own damn door. I clench my fists. Then I hear something scrape inside the room, maybe a piece of furniture. My mind blanks out again. I back away slowly, tiptoe down the hall, slip out the front door as quietly as I entered. Once I'm outside, I realize my entire shirt is damp with sweat. I stand by my car for a minute, trying to regulate my breathing. A swirl of anger, disgust, heartbreak. But I don't scream or cry. I get in my car, turn the key, and drive off. My hands shake on the steering wheel. I nearly run a stop sign. The driver of a pickup truck honks at me furiously. I offer a half-hearted wave of apology. My eyes are burning, but no tears come. I drive aimlessly for half an hour, eventually pulling into the parking lot of a random strip mall. I sit there, engine off, gasping. A short, bitter laugh escapes my lips. Not every pain is visible, but it sure as hell is eating me alive. That's a fact. Another fact. My wife is in my house with him. That night, I do nothing. I come home after dark. The spare bedroom door is open, the bed neatly made. There's no sign of him. Caroline is on the couch, flipping through channels like nothing happened. She barely glances at me. I wonder if she knows I saw them, if she cares. The silence suffocates me. She stands up. I'm going to bed, she says. Not one note of guilt or apology in her voice. I remain in the living room, eyes fixed on the blank TV screen, waiting for something. An impulse, a surge of energy to do what must be done. I think about my father's funeral, how I stayed silent there too. Not crying, not speaking to anyone. I remember that same numbness. I guess I've always been this way when confronted with something too big, too crushing. My brain just shuts down. Then I drift into a bleak sense of humor about it. Maybe I should send them a bill for the bed they used. The thought is so absurd that I almost smile. Then I hate myself for it. Days later, the final straw arrives. I'm in the kitchen, flipping through the mail. Bills, ads, a postcard from my sister. Then someone knocks on the front door. I know it's him before I even open it. Don't ask me how. Some instinct just flares up in my gut. I open the door, and there he is, Dominic Harris, the man I saw in the half-lit bedroom. The man who stole my wife's laughter, or maybe she just handed it to him. He stands a few inches shorter than me, but with a lean, self-assured stance. He's wearing a fitted jacket, dark jeans, and a look that says he'd rather be anywhere else. His eyes meet mine, and I see a flicker of guilt, or maybe pity. I can't decide which. The hallway is still behind me, hush and gloom. My entire body tenses. I'm here for. He starts, voice faltering. Then he clears his throat. I mean, Caroline. I say nothing. My breathing is shallow. A wave of nausea threatens to buckle my knees. He glances to the side, maybe hoping I'll step aside and let him in. That's not happening. Part of me wants to laugh. Part of me wants to kill him. So I just stand there, silent, a statue with a heartbeat. He tries again, his voice tight. Listen, it's not what you think. A pathetic attempt at an explanation. He can't even look me in the eyes now. And that's when something in me breaks. Or maybe it's something that was already shattered and just now rattles loose. He takes a small step back, lifting his hands as though surrendering. Man, I raise my hand, not quite to strike, but the motion makes him flinch. I'm trembling, but it's a controlled kind of fury. My chest is so tight, I can barely get words out. You don't talk to me. I manage. You're nothing to me. My voice sounds strange, dead even. He opens his mouth, but nothing coherent comes out. I see a flicker of panic cross his face. Then he blurts, I never wanted this to happen. Okay. It's just, we connected, and... Shut up, I say. My voice is low, trembling at the edges. My father's watch feels heavy on my wrist, pressing into my skin. I step forward. He steps back. I notice his breath hitching. I sense he's worried I might actually hit him. The thought crosses my mind. My fists tighten. But a swirl of black humor surges up again, choking me. Beat him to a pulp, Mike. That'll fix your marriage, sure. That'll earn you a medal for best performance in a cliche bar brawl. The irony is almost too much. It paralyzes me again. Then I say, she's yours now. I don't need an explanation. He looks at me, pained. Look, you gotta believe me. I turn away. I don't want to hear it. I can feel adrenaline scorching my veins, making my head spin. My throat is tight. Get off my porch. Don't come back. For a second, he stands there, uncertain. Then he backs away. I watch him retreat, shoulders hunched in shame, or maybe frustration. The door closes with a soft click, but it sounds like a gunshot in my mind. I stand in the hallway, heart pounding, teeth clenched so hard they ache. Then I see Caroline's phone on the table. Dominic's name flashes on the screen. An incoming call. She must have left it here. I pick it up, watch it ring. My reflection stares back at me in the black glass. Her phone's background is the same photo of her, smiling for him. I press decline. The call ends. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. For a moment, I feel a strange equilibrium, like the world shifted, and then snapped back into place. That evening, I confront her at last. She arrives late again, stepping through the door with her usual unreadable face. I'm waiting in the living room, no lights on except for a single lamp. She looks at me. I stand up, walk over. My voice is calm, quieter than I intended. We're done. She sets down her purse. Done. A faint trace of curiosity in her tone. Marriage. Everything. You and me. I shrug. You're free to go to him or whoever. The words taste bitter on my tongue, but they're the only words left. She just nods, her expression not shifting from that detached calm. Okay. My chest constricts. I was expecting a fight, or at least a reaction. She gives me none. That hurts worse than a slap. We stand facing each other under the weak glow of the lamp. She gazes at me, but not like a spouse, more like an observer. I realize she's been gone from me for a while now. The hush in the room is deafening. I step back. Take what you want, I say. But I'm filing tomorrow. She nods again. Then she walks down the hallway to the bedroom, leaving me in the living room, that old tightness in my throat returning. My father's watch ticks on my wrist, marking the slow beats of a life shattered. The dog's little nails click on the hardwood floor as Daisy wanders in, looking up at me with confused eyes. I let out a shaky laugh, a ghost of black humor. Guess you're the only loyal female left in the house, Daisy. She cocks her head. I pat her gently, tears finally burning at the corner of my eyes. I sink to the couch, bury my face in my hands, and exhale a long, broken breath. I don't sleep that night. Instead, I pace the living room, flicking through old albums, photos from our wedding, vacations, birthdays. The illusions of happiness blur under the lamplight. Eventually, I toss them aside, mind drifting to a plan. Revenge. The word thrums in my thoughts. I don't want cliché vengeance, but I want to do something. I imagine cornering Dominic in a hotel lobby, humiliating him in front of his staff. I imagine telling everyone about Caroline's duplicity, but it feels hollow. So I keep pacing. Caroline doesn't come out of the bedroom once, not to check on me, not to ask if I'm okay. By dawn, I decide I need to punish them in a way that truly resonates. My father taught me that sometimes the harshest payback is letting people live with their choices, so I'll give them exactly that. I'll strip away anything that ties me to them. I'll cut her out of my finances, freeze our joint accounts, file for divorce, let her see how it feels to stand on shifting ground. I'll keep all evidence, screenshots, phone logs, just in case she tries to claim otherwise. I won't do it out of a sense of legal battles. I'll do it because I want them to feel the cost. Let them see how it feels to break a life. Perhaps that's my brand of revenge. To walk away and leave them with the wreckage. The next morning, I wake from a short doze on the couch. My shoulders ache. My phone rings. It's my lawyer friend, Kevin. I texted him at some ungodly hour, telling him I need a divorce lawyer. He's calling back now. I rub my eyes and answer. I speak curtly, laying out the facts. I don't draw conclusions or dwell on emotions, just the facts. She cheated. I have evidence. I want out. He's supportive in a clinical way, telling me about the steps. He asks if I want to see a counselor. I say no. He asks if I want to talk about property distribution. I say I don't care. Just handle it. My voice is as flat as the kitchen countertop I'm leaning on. When I hang up, I notice Caroline standing at the edge of the living room. She's dressed casually, hair still damp from a shower. She meets my eyes. "I'll move out," she says, again with that maddening calm. I let out a breath. Okay. No begging, no tears. She just nods, picks up her purse. As she passes me, I smell the faint perfume that used to drive me wild. Now it just triggers a wave of nausea and a flicker of black humor. That perfume must be on sale. She heads out the door, and Daisy trails after her, nails tapping on the floor, uncertain. Caroline calls softly for the dog to follow, and Daisy does, tail wagging hesitantly. The door closes, and the house is empty again. I spend the next few days finalizing papers. I go to the bank, freeze the joint accounts. I box up the photos, not out of sentimentality, but because I don't want to see them lying around. I toss out half-empty perfume bottles, old receipts from dinners we once enjoyed. The ritual is methodical, strangely calming. I move through it quickly at first, fumbling items, nearly dropping glass frames. Then I slow, hitting a kind of emotional paralysis. By the time I finish, the house feels stripped of life. Just me, a couch, and leftover furniture we once bought together. The silence is both suffocating and liberating. A weird blend. Late one evening, I'm sitting at the kitchen table, a half-drunk bottle of whiskey in front of me. The only sound is the hum of the refrigerator. My mind wanders to the final confrontation that never really happened. No big showdown, no screaming match. Just emptiness. I almost wish we'd had a blowout, something to give this all a dramatic flair. But no, she left in calm neutrality. Maybe that's worse. I thumb the label on the whiskey bottle, lost in thought. Then the doorbell rings. My heart lurches. For a second, I think it's Caroline coming back. Or maybe Dom, here for some face-off. But when I open the door, it's just a courier delivering an envelope. I sign the slip, perplexed. I take the envelope to the kitchen. Inside is a single letter, a formal invitation to some upcoming event hosted by Dominic's Hotel. My name's on the guest list, courtesy of Caroline. My first reaction is disbelief. Is this a joke? A wave of black humor swells, mixing with anger and curiosity. Why in God's name would they invite me to an event? Maybe they want to rub my nose in it. Or maybe it's a glitch. My mind swirls with possibilities. I think of ignoring it. But then a small spark of vengeance flares. What if I show up? I set the letter down. My hands tremble. Another plan forms in my head. If I appear at this event, it might be a chance to finalize my revenge, to confront them on their own turf. Or maybe I just need the closure of seeing them in public, unmasked. My chest tightens with excitement and dread. The old me would never do something like this. But the old me is gone, replaced by a man hollowed out, a man who's discovered the savage thrill of black humor in the midst of heartbreak. I close my eyes, remembering how Dom looked on my doorstep. Uncertain, stammering. He's not invincible, just a man who got too comfortable messing with someone else's wife. I think of Caroline's indifferent face, how she gave me nothing in the end. Something about it all begs for a final confrontation. I decide I'll go. A week passes. The day of the event arrives. I dress in a crisp shirt, slacks, polished shoes. I even dig up an old tie from the back of the closet. My reflection in the mirror is tense, determined. There are shadows under my eyes, lines in my face that weren't there before. But I'm standing straighter than I have in weeks. I check my father's watch. Time to leave. The hotel is downtown, all glass and steel. The sign reading Lucent Crown Hotels, one of Dom's chain. The lobby is polished marble, lit with chandeliers. Groups of people mingle, business associates, event planners, some well-dressed guests. My heart thuds. I feel out of place. I walk in anyway, shoulders stiff. I catch a glimpse of Caroline near the bar, talking with a few other women. She spots me, and for a second, her expression cracks with surprise, concern. She quickly smooths her features back to a polite, neutral mask. She doesn't smile or wave. I step aside, scanning the crowd for Dom. I find him easily. He's in a tailored suit, greeting someone with a firm handshake, a confident grin. Then his gaze drifts and lands on me. The grin falters. His body language changes. He excuses himself and walks over. The crowd noise buzzes around us. My pulse is racing. I meet his eyes, and for once, I don't look away. He clears his throat. You came. I tilt my head. Looks like I was on the guest list. He tries a slight smile, but it's forced. Caroline suggested it. Something about maintaining appearances, I guess. He's lying. I see it. Or maybe he's just repeating something she told him. I glance across the room to where she stands, pretending she's not watching us. My mouth twists in a faint smirk. Maintaining appearances. She's good at that. His face colors. He looks around, conscious of other guests. Let's talk somewhere private. He gestures toward a side hallway. I follow him, every muscle in my body coiled. We step into a small corridor near the restrooms, quieter, though the distant hum of music and chatter still filters through. He turns to me, lowering his voice. I never meant to humiliate you, I swear it. Caroline and I. He stops, struggling for the right words. We just got caught up. I bark a short, humorless laugh. Caught up. My voice echoes in the narrow hallway. You're responsible for your actions. She is too. Don't give me caught up. You two carried on under my roof. He winces. For the first time, I see genuine remorse in his eyes. I know. It's messed up. He looks down. If it helps, he's not planning on. I mean, we're not exactly. He exhales. We're not sure what we are now. I stare at him. That's your problem, not mine. I think about punching him, but the rage isn't pure enough. It's laced with exhaustion. Instead, I straighten my tie, a small, futile gesture of composure. I came here for closure. So, consider this me saying goodbye. You won. She's all yours. His eyes flick up. It's not that simple, he says, voice shaky. It never is, I reply. But I'm out. I start to walk away. He grabs my arm, gently, but enough to stop me. I'm sorry, he whispers. And for a moment, I almost believe him. Then I realize it doesn't matter. He let this happen. So did Caroline. I shrug off his hand. Live with it, I say, quiet but firm. Both of you. Then I turn my back on him and walk away. My footsteps echo. The hallway's cold lights reflect on the tiled floor. With every step, I feel a little weight lifting off me, replaced by a numb sense of finality. Caroline is still by the bar. She locks eyes with me as I pass. She doesn't move or speak. She just holds my gaze for a few seconds. I see a flicker of something. Regret, sadness, or maybe relief. It doesn't matter. I break eye contact and continue out the lobby doors. Once outside, the city air hits me, a swirl of car exhaust and warm breeze. People pass by on the sidewalk, oblivious to my private crisis. I inhale a shaky breath and check my watch. The second hand ticks on. Life goes on. I walk to my car, each step feeling more and more certain that I've severed the last thread tying me to her. The affair, the secrets, the heartbreak. It's all out in the open now. Nothing more to hide, no illusions left. My hands still tremble, but the tension is different. I climb behind the wheel, start the engine, and drive away from that glass and steel monument to their betrayal. I don't feel triumphant or elated, but I do feel a grim sense of satisfaction. I took back some measure of control. In the end, I chose to confront them on my terms. I let them see my face, my composure. Maybe that's my brand of revenge. The simple act of surviving their betrayal without crumbling or begging or weeping. I let them see that I can walk away. And maybe, just maybe, that will haunt them more than any violent outburst ever could. It's past midnight by the time I get home. The house is dark. Caroline took most of her belongings, so the place looks half empty. I flick on a floor lamp. The living room furniture is all that remains. My couch, a coffee table, a few shelves. My father's watch reads 12:37 a.m. I undo my tie and drop it on the couch. My breath escapes in a long, ragged sigh. I wonder if Daisy's with her, or if she left the dog with a friend. Strange, the things I think about. I lean my head back, eyes shut. The pain's still there, dull, throbbing, but I sense it might fade over time. I survived the confrontation. I discovered my own capacity to endure. The black humor stirs one last time in my mind. I guess I'm a free man now. Maybe I should buy that fishing boat I've been eyeing. Feed the fish all my sorrow. The thought almost makes me laugh. I remember a line from an old friend who once said, "Not every bruise is visible, but you can still feel it." I guess that's my life now. Bruised, not broken. Freed, in a twisted sense. Tomorrow, I'll call Kevin, push the divorce forward. I'll continue living, one day at a time. Maybe I'll eventually find a new rhythm, new meaning. For now, the only thing I know is that I walked away from her and him. I took the final step on my own. Silence settles in the living room. I feel it press on me, but it's not as suffocating as before. It's just emptiness, a vacuum left in the wake of everything that happened. The lamp's light throws my shadow across the wall, a tall figure tinted with regret, and something like resolve. I'm alone, yes, but also strangely at peace with that fact. The last few months rewrote my life, but now the pen is back in my hand. I open my eyes. The watch ticks softly. The hush of the house feels like a new beginning. Then, for the first time in weeks, I let out a sharp exhale that almost feels like relief. I get up, turn off the lamp, and head to bed. Tomorrow, everything changes. Tonight, I'll just let the darkness wrap around me, a small mercy. I can finally sleep now. At least that's what I tell myself before I close my eyes and wait for the dreams, or nightmares, to come. They might come, or they might not. Either way, the worst is done. And as I lie there, exhaling, my final thought is a grim, quiet truth. Some scars remain invisible, but they cut just as deep.